So in today's video, I'm going to bring you guys my personal player of the season at every League 2 club from the 2023-24 campaign. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 150 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, who do you support and who do you think should have been your club's player of the season. Obviously you'll know your club much better than me, but from the outside looking in, I've had a little bit of a go at giving every club a player of the season award in my personal opinion. So make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you're new as well, and let's get into it. Starting out then with Newport County, and I have gone with Will Evans, traditionally a striker but has actually filled in quite a lot of left wing back this season as well, and his numbers this season are absolutely brilliant for Newport. 46 games played in total, 44 starts for him, 21 goals, averaging a goal every 182 minutes with a 21% goal conversion rate. Some absolutely brilliant statistics, and while he didn't end the season particularly great, just one goal in his last 10 matches, a lot of the time he was having to play at left wing back due to injuries. He also chipped in with 3 assists, and while Newport overall had a really underwhelming season, Will Evans was definitely the best out of all of their options. Even defensively, really good. 1.3 clearances per game, 1.3 tackles per game, 3.9 balls recovered per game as well, and in my personal opinion it couldn't have been anyone else other than Will Evans. Next up then is Doncaster Rovers, and I have gone with striker Joe Ironside. Now you kind of have to split Doncaster's season up into two, because the first half of the season they were absolutely awful. They then got their January signings in, and in the second half of the season they were absolutely excellent, made it through into the League 2 playoff semi-finals, and unfortunately for them bottled it in the second leg, but they managed to completely turn their season around when at one point it looked like they were genuinely in a relegation battle to go into the National League. But Joe Ironside has had a really good season for Doncaster, consistent throughout all that, was really good in the playoff matches, especially that first leg as well. Ended the season absolutely brilliantly, loads of goals and assists in there. In the end he finished with 20 goals and 5 assists with a 24% goal conversion rate. He played 45 matches in total, 41 of them being starts, while Luke Molyneux, Hakiba Doolican, even Lota Tala all had really good second halves of the campaign. I think Ironside was consistent throughout, and for me personally should be their player of the season. Barrow AFC are up next then, and this one was a little bit of a tricky one, because Barrow are one of them clubs where they don't have anyone who massively stood out. They've had a lot of very good plays for the large part. Obviously the last couple of games of the season were absolutely terrible, but in the end I've gone with central midfielder Thian Spence. Played 45 matches in total, 40 of them being starts, scored 9 goals and chipped in with 6 assists. I think if you're going to get 15 goal contributions from central midfield at a team where no one really massively stood out, and for the large part when everyone played well, everyone would play well, and when one player would play bad, everybody would play bad. You know, there was no real major standouts at Barrow, so I think a central midfielder getting 15 goal contributions while also being excellent defensively, 1 interception per game, 1.9 tackles per game, 4.5 balls recovered per game as well. He wins 47% of his ground duels with a 54% successful dribble rate. Really good central midfielder at this level, scored in his last 2 games of the season, and for me personally should be Barrow's player of the year. Moving over then to the 4th place finishers, MK Dons, I have gone with striker Max Dean. Now while he only made the 22 starts this season in the league, 29 appearances for him in all competitions, 15 goals and 5 assists, he just has to be in there, doesn't he? 17% goal conversion rate. He did also miss the 8 big chances, but averages a goal every 128 minutes, one of the best goals per minute ratios in the division, which is absolutely excellent. And while I think he's an absolute moron, to be honest with you, he's clearly a very good player when he's obviously not finding himself suspended or whatever. I think he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season due to that stamp in the playoff semi-final second leg. Obviously MK Dons absolutely battered, conceded 8 goals. Max Dean did score the only goal for MK Dons whilst also missing a penalty. Yes, he kind of missed half the season, but when he did play he was absolutely outstanding for MK Dons. While defensively they weren't particularly great this season, going forward when they were fit and firing, Max Dean was a big part of that, and for me personally should be their player of the year. Swindon Town's player of the season then, I have gone with Dan Kemp, and he only played with the club until January, but he was the best player in the division until that time. He was absolutely excellent, and if Swindon didn't have Dan Kemp and Jake Young as well, and that first half of the season, they would have probably gone down, and I have no real concerns about saying that. They would have been so screwed without them two, because they were absolutely brilliant. But in particular, Dan Kemp. Now, these statistics are taken as well from his time with MK Dons, but just to give you some context as to how good Dan Kemp was at this season: 46 matches for him in total, 39 starts, 17 goals, 11 assists, and not many of them came from his time with MK Dons. In terms of his amount of goal contributions that he got, I would probably say 6 or 7 at MK Dons. The rest of them were at Swindon, and that tells you how good he was at the first half of the campaign. He averaged a goal every 199 minutes with a 16% goal conversion rate, created 15 big chances, averaging 1.7 key passes per game. Even though he's only at Swindon for the first half of the season, he was that good. He, in my personal opinion, has to win their Player of the Year. Over at Salford City, I have gone with striker Matt Smith, 34 years of age, but still bagging the goals in 24 for him in total in 39 starts. Did make all 46 appearances in total, averaged a goal every 148 minutes, which I think is a really solid return, with a 19% goal conversion rate. Also chipped in with 3 assists. Towards the back end of the campaign, his form wasn't amazing, just 1 goal in his last 6 matches, but on the whole, really good for Salford City, and in my personal opinion, deserves their Player of the Year. I think it was a really poor season for Salford. Elliot Watt, who I think won it last year for Salford, was injured or suspended for the large part this season and didn't end it particularly strong. But Matt Smith, for me, 27 goal contributions in 39 starts. For a 34-year-old, he definitely has to win their Player of the Year. Over at Walsall then, I have gone with attacking midfielder Isaac Hutchinson. The 24-year-old made 43 starts for the club in the league this season, 46 matches though in total, 12 goals and 11 assists, 23 goal contributions from midfield. Definitely wins him the Player of the Season in my opinion. While in the end it was another underwhelming season for the Saddlers, lots of inconsistent form, ended the season pretty poorly as well. I think for me personally, he was definitely their best player. Averaged a goal every 325 minutes with, actually to be fair, only a 9% goal conversion rate, but 23 goal contributions from midfield, averaging 1.3 key passes per game. He's in as my Player of the Season, and he also ended the season very strong as well. I think it's 5 goal contributions in his last 7 matches, not too bad to be fair. Mansfield Town are up next then, and I have gone with attacking midfielder, striker. I've gone with Davies Keeler-Dunn, one of the best players in the division this season. His technical ability is absolutely second to none, and while Mansfield obviously had a lot of very good players this season, Stephen Quinn, Aidan Flint, Jordan Bowery, very consistent as well, Davies Keeler-Dunn was the pick of the bunch for me. Again, played all 46 matches this season in the league for Mansfield, 40 of them being starts, 22 goals and 10 assists, 32 goal contributions, when for the large part he was playing as an attacking midfielder. Absolutely outstanding. He also missed 16 big chances this season, but also again created 14, averaging 2.2 key passes per game, scoring a goal every 155 minutes. Absolutely outstanding, one of the best players in the division, and definitely deserves to win Mansfield's Player of the Year. But if you are enjoying today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. We are aiming for 150 likes on today's video, so please make sure you have liked if you haven't already. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. And let's move on to Crewe Alexandra. For the railway men then, I have gone with Mikey Dimitri. Absolutely excellent season for the central defender. Played all 46 matches again this season for Crewe, 45 of them being starts. Scored 8 goals and chipped in with 6 assists. Also scored in the League 2 playoff semi-final second leg as well. Obviously Crewe in the end didn't manage to quite get over the line, but 14 goal contributions from the centre of defence is absolutely excellent. He kept 13 clean sheets, averaging 1.5 interceptions per game, 5.7 balls recovered per game, and 5.8 clearances per game as well. He wins 63% of his ground and aerial duels with a 70% successful dribble rate. Definitely one of the best centre-halves in the division this season. Massively underrated, and at 34 years of age, maybe a season you wouldn't have expected at the start of the campaign, but definitely deserves to win Crewe's Player of the Season for me. Sutton United was a very hard one because obviously they got relegated and no one massively stood out for them. In the end, I've gone with striker Harry Smith. I think it has been confirmed he will be leaving the club this summer after their relegation to the National League, but 11 goals in 34 league starts, it's not awful. 4 assists in there as well, 15 goal contributions in 37 appearances from in total in the league. Ended the season as well with a goal and an assist, scored every 271 minutes. Did actually also miss 15 big chances to be fair, but also averaged 1 key pass per game. Like I say, Sutton was a particularly hard one. They've not had many players who've massively stood out this season, but if I have to pick someone, I'm going Harry Smith. Wrexham AFC, again a very tricky one. They've had so many excellent players this season. In the end though, I've gone with probably the obvious one in Paul Mullin. Absolutely outstanding season for him again, and I think if he would have been fit at the start of the campaign, he might have touched 30 goals this season. He was absolutely incredible for Wrexham. 34 starts, 38 appearances for him in total in the league, 24 goals and 6 assists, 30 goal contributions in 34 starts. Absolutely excellent season for Paul Mullin. Ended the season absolutely brilliantly as well. Loads of goals and a couple of assists in there as well in his last 7 or 8 matches. Averaged a goal every 126 minutes with a 21% goal conversion rate. He also did miss 14 big chances while creating 7, 6 assists in there, averaging 1.3 key passes per game. Absolutely brilliant this season for Wrexham, and now he is in his prime, 29 years of age, definitely deserves to win their Player of the Year for me. At Crawley Town, I nearly went with central midfielder Liam Kelly, nearly went with goalkeeper Corey Adai. In the end though, I have gone with Danilo Orsi. What Scott Lindsay has managed to achieve with Danilo Orsi this season, I don't think we'll ever see again. He has never really been a goal scorer throughout his career, but Scott Lindsay has managed to turn him into 19 goals in the league and then also 4 goals in the playoffs. He scored a hat-trick in the playoffs. He's also scored in the final. Just absolutely excellent. 4 assists in there as well. An unbelievable season for Danilo Orsi. I think his contract has been extended by a further year as well at Crawley, so he's going to be with them in League One. Can he repeat that form in the division above? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but an outstanding season this year for Crawley. 25% goal conversion rate in the league this season. Absolutely outstanding, and for me personally, it has to win their Player of the Year. What he did in that playoff semi-final second leg away from home against MK Dons was absolutely excellent. He deserves it for me. AFC Wimbledon, again, a bit of a tricky one. They were kind of average really all season. No one who massively stood out. James Tilley started the season out brilliantly. Obviously, they lost Al Hamadi in January. In the end, though, I have gone with goalkeeper Alex Bass. Spent the season on loan from Sunderland and had a pretty solid season. I think he got the second most amount of clean sheets in the division this season with 16. Only Ben Hinchcliffe kept more than him this campaign, and obviously previously been out on loan at my team at Bradford City and didn't particularly impress with us, but on the whole, if I have to pick somebody from Wimbledon, I would say he was probably the most consistent throughout the full season. Forest Green Rovers, again, very similar to Sutton United, very hard to pick someone at fault this season. In the end though, I've gone with Kyle McAllister. Played 44 matches in total, 42 of them being starts, 6 goals and 7 assists for a team who got relegated from midfield. He's obviously not a bad return. 13 goal contributions, I think, is just the best of a bad bunch. It was a horrible season really in the end for Forest Green, and on the whole, not really much else can be said. Kyle McAllister, if I have to pick somebody, I'm going with him for their Player of the Year. Over at my team at Bradford City, it was comfortably Brad Halliday this season. Absolutely excellent for us, and while he was dropped at the start of the campaign and throughout pre-season for Daniel Ugoke, he was awful at the start of the campaign. When Halliday worked his way back into the side, he made himself undroppable. Absolutely brilliant from right back or right wing back this season. His heat map down that right hand side is absolutely excellent to see. 4 goals and 4 assists, 1.4 interceptions per game, 2.8 tackles per game, 5.7 balls recovered per game, and 1.2 clearances per game as well. He wins 59% of his ground duels and 46% of his aerial duels. Absolutely outstanding. Comfortably the best right back in the division this season, and definitely has to win it for the Bantams. Over at Morecambe, we've got another right back, and that is Joel Senior. I think when he came in on a 1-year deal from Carlisle, there was maybe a little bit of concern, I would say, or a little bit of scepticism about the signing. You know, he didn't really have a particularly great time with Carlisle, but I do think he was quite harshly treated by Paul Simpson. I do think he deserved a chance at League One. At Morecambe though, proved to be one of the best right backs in the division this season. 1 goal and 5 assists. He kept 6 clean sheets, averaging 1.6 tackles per game, 4.7 balls recovered per game, and 1.6 clearances per game as well. He wins 54% of his ground duels, while statistically obviously not as good as Brad Halliday. In terms of his time at Morecambe, I do think he had a really good season with the Shrimps, and again, no one massively stood out for them over the full campaign. Obviously, it would have been Michael Mellon if he stayed there for the full season. His time in Scotland didn't really work out, so he should have probably stayed with the Shrimps in hindsight. But on the whole, Joel Senior for me, probably Morecambe's best player this season, but you could argue maybe a Ferran Rawson, maybe even Jan Songo. But if you are enjoying today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me. We are aiming for 150 likes on today's video, so please make sure you have liked if you haven't already. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and get your thoughts in it down in the comment section down below. Let's waste no further time and move on to Gillingham. Again, the Gills, a very difficult one to actually give a player of the season to, because no one massively stood out. In the end, I've decided to go with Connor Mahoney. 7 goals and 4 assists in 33 starts. It's not awful. Gillingham couldn't really score goals at the start of the campaign, and if I have to pick someone, I'm going to go with Mahoney. You could maybe go Connor Masterson. At Harrogate Town, I want to give a big shout out to George Thompson in central midfield. Absolutely outstanding season for him. I think 16 goals and 8 assists, absolutely brilliant. Matty Daly had a really good season with them as well, even Abraham Odo. In the end though, I've gone with Anthony O'Connor. Absolutely outstanding this season for Harrogate in the centre of their defence. 43 appearances for him this season, 4 goals and 1 assist, but 11 clean sheets, 1.9 interceptions per game, 4.8 balls recovered per game, 6.5 clearances per game as well, winning 64% of his ground duels and 73% of his aerial duels with a 60% successful dribble rate. I was massively surprised to see him join Harrogate 18 months ago, but since he's gone there, he's been absolutely outstanding, and for me personally this season, the most consistent in that side, and definitely deserves a shout for player of the season at Harrogate Town. Stockport County, again, another really hard one because they've had so many excellent players this season. In the end though, I've gone with central defender Fraser Horsfall. I think when you take most players out of that Stockport side, they can be replaced. I think maybe Ben Hinchcliffe, you could argue, you know, the backup to him last season, Jordan Smith, they were nowhere near the same level, but Fraser Horsfall, you bring him out and you put someone like a Neil Byrne in there, who has since signed for Bradford City. The drop-off was absolutely magnificent, and Fraser Horsfall was so important to that Stockport side, I had to give him the player of the season. Did miss one game this season though, and started 45 in total. 2 goals for him, keeping 17 clean sheets, 1.2 interceptions per game, 1 tackle per game, 4.9 balls recovered per game, and 5 clearances per game as well, winning 74% of his aerial duels and 56% of his ground duels. Absolutely outstanding this season for Stockport, and a big part of why they did go on and achieve what they achieved, winning the League 2 title. And if Bradford City want to sign any more players from Stockport, very unrealistic, but Fraser Horsfall, we could certainly do a lot worse than, couldn't we? But that's just never going to happen. Definitely their player of the year though. Accrington Stanley is a very easy one, and that is winger Jack Nolan. 22 years of age, his first real breakthrough season in the Football League, and he was absolutely excellent. 39 starts for him in total in the league, 45 appearances in total, 17 goals and 8 assists, 25 goal contributions in 39 starts. With all due respect, at a team like Accrington, is absolutely incredible. Scored a goal on average every 200 minutes, only missed 6 big chances as well, with a 15% goal conversion rate. He also created 13 big chances, averaging 2 key passes per game, with a 24% accurate cross rate, and I think he was absolutely brilliant this season for Accrington. Ended the season excellently as well, loads of goals in his last 10 games and a couple of assists in there as well, and for me personally, definitely deserves Stanley's Player of the Year award. Over at Notts County, I've maybe gone slightly controversial with this one, but I've gone with Jody Jones. I think a big shout out obviously needs to go to Macaulay Langstaff and Dan Crowley, but the amount of big chances that Langstaff has missed this season kind of put me off him a little bit. Jody Jones, obviously record breaking season, I think the most league assists in the Football League or in England, something like that. It was either way, whatever the actual record was, it was an outstanding season for Jody Jones. While defensively did struggle at times, going forward at 24 assists and 6 goals, 30 goal contributions in 40 starts from wing back is absolutely outstanding. Created 33 big chances. You find me numbers elsewhere in the EFL where someone has created 33 big chances in 40 starts. You just simply cannot find that, and like I mentioned earlier, Langstaff missed far too many big chances for me to win their Player of the Year. Dan Crowley, I think, is massively underrated for this division, but in the end I've decided to go with Jody Jones. Colchester United, again a bit of a hard one because no one's massively stood out for them this season. In the end I've gone with youngster Jaden February. It looks quite likely he's going to be joining Stockport County. I'll be interested to see where he fits into their 4-3-1-2 formation, because they don't play with wing backs, they don't play with wingers. I'm not really too sure where he's going to fit in. Maybe as a striker, still got 1 year left on his contract, but 4 goals and 4 assists for him in what was, in the end, a massively underwhelming season for Colchester. Averaged a goal every 898 minutes. He missed 3 big chances. There's not really too much to be said about him. He's a very good young player with lots of potential for the future, and if I have to give someone a player of the season at Colchester, I'm going to go with Jaden February, but I do want to give a big shout out though to Arthur Reed in midfield. 2 teams left to go then, and next up is Tranmere Rovers. I've gone with central midfielder Regan Hendry. Again, when Nigel Adkins went in there, he got them playing very consistently. No one massively stood out in that side, where if one player played well, they all played well. If one player played poorly, they all played poorly. It was kind of one of them seasons for Tranmere Rovers. In the end though, I have gone with Regan Hendry. Played 45 matches for them this season in the league, 44 of them being starts, 5 goals and 3 assists. I think 8 goal contributions from a holding midfielder is pretty solid in my opinion. Failed to miss a big chance all season as well, whilst also creating 7, averaging 2.1 key passes per game, 1.4 tackles per game, 6.2 balls recovered per game, and 1.4 clearances per game as well. He has over a 50% successful dribble rate, wins over 50% of his ground duels and just under 50% of his aerial duels, while picking up 10 yellow cards this season. Came in from Forest Green Rovers and I think has been brilliant for Tranmere, and for me personally deserves to win their Player of the Season award. And the final team to go through and give my Player of the Season award to is Grimsby Town. Again, a very tricky one. The shouts maybe at Abo Issa, Gavan Holohan, but in the end a massively underwhelming season this year for Grimsby. I've decided to go with Danny Rose, the 30-year-old that managed 36 starts this season, 37 appearances for him in total, 13 goals and 3 assists, 16 goal contributions for a side in a relegation battle in 36 starts. I think he's a pretty solid return. He averaged a goal every 242 minutes with an 18% goal conversion rate. He missed 11 big chances while creating 4, wins 42% of his aerial duels, but it definitely feels like a lot more than that. For someone who's not the tallest, I think he's less than 6 foot, he wins quite a lot in the air for me, and Grimsby had a bad season, but if I have to pick someone, I think Danny Rose probably does deserve to win that. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 150 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, do you agree or disagree with my awards, and who do you support and who do you think deserved your Player of the Season award? Thank you all very much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you all on Sunday for the transfer roundup. Peace.